Three, two, one. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Coming at you live from Alabama. Gloomy Saturday morning. Little thunder and lightning out there. April 24th, iteration 19 for the Founders Log, talking about the past, the present, and the future of American Butchers JERKi. I'm your host, Calvin Wineland, and today we are talking about bad product. What the heck is bad product? Well, for any business in the food industry, there is always a potential of a bad product. And it just happened to be this past week, we got to experience exactly what bad product is. That was something that what I'm going to try and talk about is what is bad product? How did it happen? How did we solve it? Because this week has been all about handling bad product, good product, product in general. Because for those of you who don't know or are new to this little Founders Log, this past month, so the beginning of March, we did a fundraiser to raise beef jerky going overseas to service members. If you don't know our mission, that is the name of the game. For every 2 bags that are bought through our website, we send a bag overseas, or you can just go right to our website and purchase a bag that goes directly overseas if you're not a beef jerky fan. There is a way to support those overseas. And so since day one, that has been our mission. That has been our pillar. That is something we are continuing to strive to do. And so when we did this fundraiser, we raised a little over 350 bags to go overseas. Now, in the past month, myself and a buddy of mine, Joe, has been putting in a lot of work to package, ship, and just basically write thank yous for all service members that we've been reaching out to. We reached out to a lot of you to try and find us service members to donate towards. And for a while, I thought we had 350 bags with no homes. Well, through basically reaching out to all of you, 350 bags were found homes like that. And it was so quick. I mean, we put on our website the opportunity or a link for you as a customer or as a person to go out and sponsor a hero. So if you knew someone, if you a friend, family, brother, mother, and they were currently serving overseas, you could go in and put their information and we would ship them a bag of beef jerky, or depending on how many are with them, we could ship their buddies, all of you, beef jerky. And so we are still to this day getting more and more numbers or donations to donate to, but we have already hit our 350 homes. So now we're currently waiting for more customers so that we can donate more beef jerky. It's kind of a weird game, but it's slowly, it's the name of the game is every 2 bags we send 1. And so we wish we could send more, but that would require us to raise the beef jerky price, and we're already cutting corners to make this a reality. So back to our discussion of sending 350 bags. So right now, as it stands, we have sent an additional 250 bags. I have 120 bags that just arrived from our place in Nebraska or in Texas. That's where we make all of our product. Is we have a facility in Texas that we make everything. All of our product is raised out of Nebraska by FFA and 4-H guys, local farmers and ranchers. We buy directly from them at sales, and then we process it. We then have our processing center in Nebraska. We then ship it down to Texas, where we have our kind of manufacturer. So we make all of our beef jerky. We package everything right there in Dallas, Texas. And we just shipped that batch to me here in Alabama. And so today's project, Saturday, in the afternoon, we want to go ahead and tackle those extra bags. So we are super close to hitting our 350 bags that have been shipped overseas. Like I said, I think we're at 200 and something, 210 right now. So we have just a little bit further to push. Joe is going to come over this afternoon, and we're going to try and knock out some more of this beef jerky to send overseas. But bad product. What do I mean by that? Well, when I received this beef jerky, It's not on anyone's fault. It's not our manufacturer's fault. It's not the business's fault. Really, what it comes down to is it's really the environment's fault, because we requested a total of 150 to be made, or we made 150. And when we shipped that 150 over to us here in Alabama, I was going through some of the bags, and I found this little white spot, just a white little spot on one of the bags of beef jerky. And I was like, what the heck is this? I was confused, because it shouldn't be mold. It shouldn't be any growth, because in order to make beef jerky, I'll give you guys just a little background lesson here. In order to make beef jerky, you have to essentially dry it so that the water content and moisture levels are low enough to prevent pathogen growth. Now, that is a tongue twister, but what it does is there's a number, and I want to say off the top of my head, it's 0.92% water activity and moisture content. Really, that is like with an oxygen absorber. At 0.92, with an oxygen absorber, there shouldn't be any growth. Well, our beef jerky goes past that and is a 0.85. So there's a range, and basically saying if you're in this range, there should not be any pathogen growth. There should not be anything growing. So it is safe to say, you guys can assume that when I saw this bag of beef jerky and it had a white spot on it, I was confused, because every quarter we send our product to a testing lab, a microbiologist lab in Texas, and we send this every quarter to get tested, and they test for water activity, they test for moisture, they test a few different things to basically make sure that we are still sticking in the guidelines of what is beef jerky. Now, why do we only do it once a quarter? Well, we believe that because we have SOPs, or standard operating procedures, we do the same thing every day when we make our beef jerky, that testing it once a quarter is just to verify that we are still within those parameters, that window that we have kind of talked about. So when I saw the white beef jerky, or I saw the white spot on our beef jerky, I was a little confused. And so with me being in charge of everything from distribution to donations overseas to packaging here in Alabama, it is crucial for me to become the product control. I look at every single bag and inspect every single bag. I flip them over. I look at the product. I look at everything, because I want to make sure that it is the best product for you as the customer. It is the best product that I, as a business owner, can provide for you as a customer. And I want to make sure that it tastes good and looks good, because if you as a customer look at a bag, or you as a donated service member look at a bag and you see a white spot on it, you're going to wonder what the heck that is. Well, this past week, so we want to break this up into like the past, the present, the future. What we've kind of handled in the past week is, when I saw this, I then thought, okay, I need to look at every bag to make sure. And so I flipped every single bag over, and out of the 150 that we received, about wow, that's an interesting word. About 10 bags had a little white spot on it. I mean, like maybe the size of a pin needle head. So it was small. And I called up our testing facility and kind of talked to a lovely lady who is a microbiologist, and she was very distraught also, because she knows that we're below the testing lab. She knows that we are below that threshold for moisture activity to grow, or growth in general, because what growth basically needs is, it needs moisture and it needs oxygen for any type of growth to happen. Well, we Ziploc tight, air suck all of our bags of beef jerky, so there is no oxygen. And we lower our beef jerky to below a certain amount, so there should not be any growth or any moisture that is allowing for any growth. So what we ended up doing was sending a product to get tested by them, and we sent one of the bags to them that has the white spots, so they can specifically, take it out, put it on a petri dish, petri dish and look right in it under a microscope. Honestly, I have no clue how they do it, but it's above my pay grade, and that's why I leave it to professionals who can do it very good. So that's what we just did. We sent it over there this past week, so hopefully they are going to take a look at it and let us know. But out of those 10 bags, I got rid of them. They will not be in circulation. The rest of the bags were A-okay. They looked good. No factors. So what we're going to end up doing this next week is packaging up those 120 bags that are ready to go here. And then we're going to make an additional batch for an extra 50 bags that will be coming from, like I said, our manufacturer in Texas. And that will be progressing, moving forward to prevent anything like this from happening. Because, like I said, transparency is all about making sure that you as a customer are getting exactly what you pay for and taste with. And us as a business are providing the best product that we can. Now, to give a little bit of insight, I actually was very curious what this growth was. And so I put it up on Google and I looked at just like beef mold or beef growth. And I found out something pretty interesting. And if you've ever had air dry beef or like any type of growth, dry aged beef, that beef is actually growing mold on it. What it does is that mold essentially is providing a protective layer. It's providing a membrane around the beef to protect it, which I didn't know. Like back in the old days, when the Midwesterners or the Westerners were coming across the West, to, uncharted territory, they would make beef jerky. Now, what that beef jerky, how it's kind of similar and somewhat different, is that beef jerky would become very moldy. And what it would do is provide this protective membrane around the beef jerky. And then the cowboys would cut off that mold and eat underneath it when they felt like they were hungry. So essentially what that did was it allowed the beef to last longer. It allowed it to stay nutritious and still provide some of those nutritional benefits to the cowboy. And so just doing a little research on something that you're not familiar with really just opens up my knowledge. I really had never known that. And so if you look at dry aged beef, it's kind of the same thing. You'll look at beef that has been set outside to dry and it'll develop some type of growth on it. But what that growth essentially is doing is just providing a protective membrane around it. I know. Mind blown. You learn stuff new every day, and that's what this is all about, is to provide you a behind the scenes into a beef jerky business that you probably have never kind of heard how it operates, and two, just to provide you some new cool facts that you can talk about with your friends and family at the dinner table. Hey, do you know beef jerky grows mold as a protective membrane? And what you can do is you can just cut it off or push it off, and you're good to eat it. I'm sure when you were a kid, your mom definitely had some cheese that she just cut off and said, "Here you go. It's good to eat." And you didn't know any better. That was just a comment that I saw in one of the posts about the mold on cheese. But yeah, that talks about everything that we've done in the past. What we're doing right now, I said, is got that product tested. And then what we're trying to do next week is hopefully get those test results back, and hopefully get them to tell us what it is that growth is, and how to eliminate it from the future, because maybe it is just going to be there on some bags and there is no way to eliminate it. Maybe there is a way to eliminate it. And for those of you who don't listen to this podcast and you just open up a bag and you're like, what the heck is this white stuff on my beef jerky? Now you have an answer. Now you know that it's just a protective membrane. You can honestly just scrape it off and eat it. But we're going to go get it tested just to cover all our bases and make sure that you as a customer are knowing exactly what it is that you're looking at. Now, moving on into just some quick conversations about next week and how I want to handle our next iteration of the Founders Log. We should be wrapping up our Instagram ad. So for those of you who don't know, we published our first promotion on Instagram. It was really just nothing crazy. We just wanted to see how the algorithm for Instagram worked, get a little more information into a promotion that we have done, and kind of see where that promotion led us. And so that promotion finishes up next week. So hopefully what we can do is deep dive into that promotion and kind of break down some of the analytics for you guys and talk about what it is that we learned from Instagram, how we can kind of continue to be better on Instagram and social media. The daily thanks on Twitter are still killing it. Surprisingly, we're actually getting people to follow our Twitter. Really, that is just an opportunity for me just to kind of self-reflect on each day to understand who or what is helping American Butchers JERKi get better. And so it's really just a shout out and thank you to those. But yeah, so Twitter is going awesome. Facebook is really just another publishing of Instagram. We put the same thing out on Instagram and Facebook. So that is kind of our strategy. We've got the daily thanks on Twitter. Now we just need to, every day what goes through my head is how do I donate more beef jerky overseas? How do I get to reaching more soldiers? And so what that requires me is how do I sell more beef jerky? And I haven't found the golden ticket yet. I haven't found the greatest solution. So we're continuing to develop, continuing to learn. But if I find out the key to the secret, you'll be the first to know, ladies and gentlemen. I will let you know. But thank you all for listening. I'll keep it short. Kept it at like 16 minutes already. I hope you guys are all having a great Saturday morning, and we will catch you guys in next week's iteration of the Founders Log. Thank you for listening.